It's a first warning weather day as snow is falling across the region. Welcome to Western Mass News at 6, everyone. On this Monday night, I'm Chris Pisano. Now here's a live look from our first warning weather tracker. The snow picking up outside right now, coating the roadways. That is 91, and it's supposed to continue for the next several hours. So again, don't go out if you don't have to, and if you do, just take it slow. We have team coverage of today's storm. Janna Brown, Audrey Russo, Sarah Granelli, they're all standing by. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Don Maher, who's out in the elements right now. Don, how's that snow?
You know, Chris, it's been coming down at a pretty good clip for the last couple of hours, and with it being that lighter, fluffy variety, it is certainly starting to pile up. We've also watched the winds kind of come up as well, so combine all that together and it's reducing visibilities. In fact, visibilities are down to a mile throughout much of southern New England, in fact, and in some locations, they're even down near zero. So Chris had the right idea. If you don't need to go out tonight, don't. If you do need to go out, give yourself a lot of extra time. So it looks like we're going to continue to see this going on for the next several hours, and then we'll start to see things taper off as we head towards midnight, and then conditions do start to improve as we head on into the day tomorrow. But the snowfall amounts, they're piling up. We're seeing many locations come in at over 6 inches. And for the latest on that, let me bring back my colleague meteorologist Janna Brown. Janna, at least, I guess if we're trying to find a silver lining here with all this snow, it's that lighter, fluffy variety, so it should be a little bit easier to move around and clean up.
Definitely, and we hate hearing about power outages, especially when it's this cold. So it doesn't seem to be a very big concern because we're not going to get the worst of the wind, and the snow, like Don said, is that fluffier variety. But there's quite a bit of it. So 8 inches now coming in from Huntington, around 7 from viewers in Chicopee and Westfield, 6 in Belchertown, about 4 3/4 to 5 inches in Munson, and Savoy is checking in at about 4.5 inches in Berkshire County. So the heaviest bands of snow right now are now impacting southern Franklin County down into the hills of Hampshire County and western Hampden County as well, and into southern Berkshire County. Reports out in East Otis that there might be 10 to maybe 12 inches of snow on the ground already. And looking at this here, I highlighted it where you see the yellow, and that cuts right through East Otis. That is the really intense snowfall right now. It's not quite as dramatic as you head farther north toward Orange, but that's where the heaviest snow is falling currently across western Mass. Now, there may be more bands of heavier snow coming in out of the south as we progress throughout the rest of the evening. And like Don said, this is going to continue through about midnight at a steady pace and then eventually taper off to snow showers. Temperatures are climbing. We're up to 28 degrees right now, but with the wind, it's feeling a whole lot colder, of course. And as we take a look at your evening planner, not a whole lot changing through 10 p.m. We'll still be dealing with accumulating snow. Once we hit midnight and get into the overnight hours, that accumulation will stop, but we may get even a little bit of patchy freezing drizzle, which is going to cause some slippery road conditions through the morning. Temperatures will be close to, if not below freezing in most locations. We're back to the low 30s tomorrow with a few lingering snow showers. The rest of your forecast coming up in just a bit. Chris?
Janna, thanks. Now we continue our team coverage with Western Mass News reporter Sarah Granelli. She joins us live from inside the Springfield Department of Public Works with the latest from there. Sarah?
Chris, here crews inside and out are hard at work. We want you to take a look at the monitors right here. This is where they monitor the roads to make sure the roads are clear and safe for people to drive. We have been watching them closely and noticing, oh, you can see it right there to the left. Traffic is moving slowly but smoothly in that area. Now, the DPW started salting and sanding last night, and they have been continuing throughout the day. There are about 20 DPW employees out plowing today, and more than 100 contracted workers that will be helping out the city as well. The DPW director, Chris Signoli, tells Western Mass News there are parking bans in effect and penalties are in place for violators.
We started at 9 o'clock this morning, and we will be keeping them in place, obviously, today, this afternoon and tonight, and then overnight and tomorrow. We work with the police department on the ticketing and towing.
Now, the ticketing and towing will be happening heavily on the main roads and then headed to the residential areas. So be warned, if you're in that area, there will be a $50 ticket, or it could be $120 if your car gets towed. Now, we want to give you another live look. This is the interactive map. This is on the city side that you'll be able to log into and get an idea of if your road has been plowed. Now, there are about 800 roads in Springfield, so it will take crews several hours to be able to clear up the city's roads for you, so be very patient. Live in Springfield, I'm Sarah Granelli for Western Mass News.
Sarah, thank you for that live report. The mass COVID-19 vaccine site out at the Eastfield Mall is continuing to operate normal hours today and tomorrow. However, some appointments will likely be missed because of this weather. And Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live from the Eastfield Mall with more on that. Audrey?
The company that runs this site says that they have extensive planning measures in place to make sure that no doses go wasted.
We've done 1,800 so far, including today's numbers.
The number of people vaccinated against COVID-19 at the Eastfield Mall continues to grow. But snowy weather hitting Western Mass on Monday has raised concern about the dangers of driving to the Springfield site. Curative, the company running the location, is offering alternative times for people who miss their appointments due to weather. But what happens to the doses of vaccine that were thawed and waiting to go into arms Monday?
And we're looking at conditions on the ground and what our numbers are and the appointments made.
Dean Schultes is the vice president of field operations for Curative. He says they usually thaw and dilute vials based on the number of shots they plan to do per hour. He says the company has a plan for thawing vials on days when weather might force cancellations.
And we reduce that amount, to account for appointments that might not be able to be made so we don't have wasted doses.
Schultes tells Western Mass News they get 5 to 6 doses out of each vial. And even if there are a few thawed doses left over.
We've got 5 days refrigerated time once we thaw the Pfizer vaccinations.
Phase 2 officially began Monday with people 75 and over first in line. People 65 and over are next. Western Mass News' Vaccine Authority hotline has been flooded with questions about a more concrete timeline for people who are 65. Governor Charlie Baker addressing that issue, but not committing to an exact date.
It depends on whether you think the universe that you have left, how many people have had first doses, right? Because then you need to budget slots for the assumption that those folks are coming back for second doses, right? So that has an impact on when you can actually be able to make first doses available for people who are in the next group.
Now, for those who are still struggling to make an appointment for one of these mass vaccine sites online, Governor Charlie Baker says that they are working on a hotline that people can call. He says that they're planning on announcing the phone number for that hotline later on this week, around Wednesday or Thursday. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
Audrey, great information there. Thank you for that live report. And let's take a quick look now at the latest coronavirus numbers in our state over the last 2 weeks. The Mass Department of Public Health reporting more than 2,200 new cases of COVID-19 today. So that brings the total number of cases to more than 500,000. And almost 72,000 of those are believed to currently be active. The state also reporting 30 new deaths from the virus. The statewide death toll stands at more than 14,300. And for more coverage on the coronavirus emergency as it continues to develop, just log on to our free Western Mass News streaming app. Police in Wilbraham responded to reports of a bomb threat made at the Friendly's headquarters on Boston Road. Officials tell Western Mass News a threat was called into that facility this morning. They say all proper protocols were followed when crews arrived on scene, and it was deemed an unfounded incident. Police say the building remained open and the entire building did not have to be evacuated. We have new information on yesterday's water main break on Main Street in Springfield. That area is open to traffic once again. The Springfield DPW Director, Chris Signoli, tells Western Mass News the problem is still being worked on by the Water and Sewer Commission. The break affected an underground branch to a hydrant, and now water crews are looking into the extent of the damage to the streets and surrounding sidewalks. Today marks the first day of Black History Month. Today in Springfield, Mayor Dominic Sarno joined State Representative Bud Williams to celebrate the 35th annual Black American Heritage Ceremony out at City Hall. Following the ceremony, the Black Heritage flag was raised on the front steps.